We're going to be unboxing and assembling the Avadar C3, our first ever mid-drive motors here on the E-Ryders channel. Stay tuned. Hey, this is Nelson. Welcome back to the E-Ryders channel. Today we're going to be unboxing and assembling the Avadar C3. Just want to give a shout out to Avadar for sending this channel the Avadar for review purposes only. Let's go ahead and check out the box inside. Alright, so once opening it, you can see bubble wrapped pieces. You can see styrofoam pieces. There's a couple of boxes and a full-size manual. Now, from personal experience, I've seen a lot of bikes shipped. Usually see a lot more foam and a lot more wrapped pieces than this. But you know what? The bike came perfect. No imperfections, no dings. The box was in great shape. Of course, most boxes are delivered by FedEx, so it all depends on how they ship it. But we got lucky, so everything was looking good. So go ahead and take out some of the boxes. You got a small box and a big box. And we're going to open up the big box. Alright, and inside the big box you see what looks like a battery wrapped in bubble wrap. So very well protected. Most bikes come shipped with batteries inside the bike already. So this is separate. And we're going to get the charger out of the box, and we're going to charge this battery. Since it was so easy to get to before we even pulled out the bike, we can go ahead and charge the battery while we assemble the bike. That way the battery will be a lot more charged when we're done, and we have a lot more juice in the battery to ride it around. Let's go ahead and take out the bike. Make sure you get all the loose ends out of there. That way the bike slides out easy. Alright, now this is not a full-size, fat tire bike, and this is a road bike, so it's not as heavy. So you should be able to pull it out of the box. Alright, so that's what it looks like. All the wrapped pieces. Stands up on its own pretty well actually too, so you can actually start cutting the straps off. Right away I can tell that it's a beautiful paint job on the bike. I know this isn't a review video, this is an unboxing and assembly video, but yeah, right away I can tell you the paint, it just looks fantastic. The shine, the tire, everything, it looks like quality. They really put a lot into this bike. And we're just going to fast forward that way and get to assembling the bike. You don't even know about all the little ties holding it together. You just clip all those ties off, take off all the foam. So we're going to speed it up. Alright, so one of the first things we suggest doing is putting the handlebars on first. The reason why, that way the handlebars aren't just dangling there and they won't be in the way while you're assembling the rest of the bike. Plus, when they're just hanging there, they have a tendency to ding and bang into the frame. You don't want any paint chips or anything like that. So we'll get the handlebars on, and to do that we take off the stem bracket at the top there. There's 4 screws holding that on together. Just take those 4 screws off. Alright, as you can see, once you get the handlebars up toward the stem, there are some white guidelines to help you align the handlebars. put the bracket over that, and then go ahead and put the screws in. You can start them off just by using your fingers, and then tighten it up later. Alright, so we're just going to tighten them up with the wrench just a little bit, not all the way. We'll tighten them all the way up later on once we got the tire on and everything's level. That way we'll know exactly how to or where to adjust the bars comfortably. Next is the skewer quick release, which you can find in the accessories box. Take note of the springs on the quick release skewer. So you grab your front tire, take off the plastic guard on the tire, and you can go ahead and put in the quick release, and go ahead and put the nut on one end of the quick release skewer. Again, take note of the spring, small end inward, bigger end outward, and just screw on the end just a little bit, enough to give enough space to where the forks will fit in between. Go ahead and lift up the bike a little bit and take off the black plastic guard off the bottom of the forks. Line up your disc just between the brake pads, and line up the skewer between the recesses of the bottom of the forks. If it's not lining up, try giving the skewer a bit more slack by screwing it outward a little bit, so you'll watch the forks just kind of drop in just like that. Perfect. And then tighten up a little bit. Remember, not all the way tight, because you want to give the skewer enough room to tighten up when you tension it and clamp it down. Not just yet. A couple more turns, and that was too tight. And that was perfect right there. Alright, and that's how you put on the front tire. And so now we're going to put on the front fender. Just take the screw off the little bridge on the fork there. Grab your fender, and also grab your light as well, your headlight, because you got to put these on pretty much at the same time because they go in the same screw hole. We like to put the bracket for the headlight between the bracket for the fender and that fork bridge, and that way the washer on the screw is thicker than the hole on the headlight bracket. That way the screw won't go through the headlight bracket. It'll keep it in between both. It'll sandwich it in, and then you can do it by hand until you get to the point where you just take your Allen wrench and screw it all the way in. Don't forget you have enough room to raise the fender up a little bit. The bracket gives you enough play to where you can slide it up and down, so you want to tighten it while you're pretty much holding the fender upward, or the bracket upwards. That way you got enough room between the fender and the tire. And then next you go to the fender support on the sides. Take the screws out. And then line up your fender stays with the fender support brackets on the forks. You can loosely put them in with your finger until you're ready to tighten it up with the wrench. Alright, some more stuff to take out of the box, accessories box, are the pedals. That's the next step. And be sure to find the left and right. It is indicated at the bottom of the pedal there, where the threads are. We're on the right hand side of the bike, so we're going to put the right pedal in, and you just pretty much turn it clockwise, like you would screw most things in clockwise. You do it by hand until you get close enough, and then you can use the wrench to tighten it down. We'll grab the left pedal, go to the left side. It's a little different on this side. Instead of screwing it in clockwise, we go counterclockwise on the left side. Do it by hand once again until we get close enough, and then we'll use a wrench. Alright, and don't forget to check your tire pressure as well. Bikes, when they come in, they could be full, they could be half, they could be completely flat. You never know. So be sure to get those tires to your desired PSI. As you can see, it was shipped with only 12 PSI. It definitely needs a bit more than that. And don't forget to plug in for your headlight. After we've put in the headlight, we put the plug in. And the headlight runs off the battery, so that's a good thing, good feature. So you don't have to mess with putting batteries in and out of the device. It just runs off the battery on your bike. Alright, speaking of battery, we think our battery is charged up a little bit more than it was. We're going to put the battery back into the bike. What's nice about the Avadar battery, the C3 battery, is that it's integrated, it seats into the bike frame, giving it a real nice, smooth, sleek look. You almost wouldn't know it's an e-bike riding it down the road, because it's it just looks it's stealthy. The battery, you wouldn't know it uses a battery, so that looks great. Don't forget to tighten down the handlebars now that you've got the tire on and everything's level. You can pretty much sit on the bike and determine where you want the handlebars facing, angled, and then just tighten her up. Now when you're tightening up these 4 screws, be sure not to tighten one up any more than the other. They all want to have equal distances or equal threading space. There's spaces in between because they all use the same the same bracket. So you want to make sure each one's got the same amount of thread into the threaded hole as the other. So give them all their own little twists and turns individually. Alright, looks good. Ready for riding. Alright, so there you go. Fully assembled Avadar. Really easy process. You can check out the Avadar on the website. They have blue and they have a red one. And also something to take note when you choose the red option. It seems to be more black than red, but it does have red trim. Well, that does it for our unboxing and assembly of the Avadar C3. Be sure to check out our detailed review of the bike later on. This will be the first time we test out a mid-drive motor, so that will be interesting. Don't miss that. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.